Hi guys, Mark Carey here. I'm back with another tip about how to use the Rodecaster and a couple of little settings that maybe you didn't know anything about. We're going to talk about those today because I didn't know about them, and the audio engineers that I was using to help me tweak my sound had to search for them themselves. So I thought perhaps today we could talk about a few things that seem to escape the attention of guys like me and some of the experts. If you like the kind of content that we're producing, hit the thumbs up. Hit the little bell if you'd like to be notified when new content posts. And by all means, we invite you to be a subscriber and share what we're doing here with others so that we can build our subscriber base and get more feedback through the comments you share with us about questions you might have or things that we've said that we could improve upon. So let's get right to it. Odds are when you get your Rodecaster Pro, it's going to have some presets. Within those presets are going to be screens that you've seen probably on a bunch of videos where you get the choice of voices on your Rodecaster. Let's start with the basic presets that usually come already established on your Rodecaster. First, if you go into Settings, which is the little gear icon on your meter screen, and then you go into Advanced, and then you go into Audio, you'll see a choice of Processing. If you hit Processing, you'll see a number of buttons there. One of them is Effects Edit Mode right at the bottom. If it is off, odds are you're going to have the basic screen, which is going to give you a chance to look at the screen and determine what kind of voice you have, what kind of tone you want to have, and what kind of levels you want to set. Those are basic settings. However, if you are in the processing screen, that is, if you work your way back to the settings and you go to Advanced, and then you go to Audio, and then you go to Processing, if you toggle on the Effects Editing Mode, you'll have an entire set of controls way beyond the basics. And what do I mean by the basics? In the basics, if you go into any one of your channels, like channel 1, your main microphone, in the basic settings, your choices will be voice and tone. You'll get to pick whether or not you have a loud voice or a soft voice or a medium voice, whether you have a high tone, a low tone, or medium tone to your voice. In addition, when you go into processing for that channel, you will have a number of options like RL Exciter, Big Bottom, de-esser, compressor, noise gate, all of those things, but they'll be limited to toggling them on or off. In the on position, you'll be taking advantage of the presets that come with Rodecaster Pro. In the off position, there will be none of those effects applied to your voice. However, if you go into your settings, Advanced, Audio, and Processing, and toggle on Effects Editing Mode, it is a wide open number of choices that you get to make with sliders in every one of those categories to either add or take away things from your voice. Now, let me say something to you that I think is very important. People have a tendency to want to play with all of these settings. An audio engineer said to me recently, these controls, compressor, the AFX controls, the noise gate, the de-esser, all of these controls ought to be seen as tools that you use to repair your voice. That is, if you find something wrong, these are tools that are available to fix it. What you should do first and foremost is record yourself without any processing at all and see what you hear and whether or not you like it. If you like it, it ain't broke. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So of all of the settings that are already built in the basic mode, when you toggle off the effects editing switch in the processing section, of all of those basics that are built in, they're probably just fine. But if you start fooling with all of the other details in the effects editing mode, you can make some weird sounds. And I did, and I didn't like the way they were being recorded. I didn't like the way I sounded on my YouTube videos. I didn't like the way I sounded on anything that I was doing. My podcast either. So I've gone back with an editor. I've gone back with an audio engineer. We've been working very hard trying to get me back to that original sound that I had. We're not there yet, and you might hear that. Now, one other thing that you might not know about your Rodecaster Pro, and it's very important that we talk about it now. There are two ways for you to edit each channel in your Rodecaster. The first way is to hit the button right above the channels that your microphones are on, 1, 2, 3, or 4. The other way is to hit your settings button on the main screen and then choose channels. And when you touch the channels button on the screen, you'll see all of your microphone channels, the USB channel, your TRRS channel, your Bluetooth channel, and you'll see your master compressor. Now, why is this important? It's important because the master compressor is going to add things or take things away from the stereo mix output of your Rodecaster. And let me repeat that. It's going to add or take things away from the stereo mix output from your Rodecaster. Are you outputting a stereo mix, or are you outputting in a multi-channel format? For example, if you're editing individual channels in a DAW like Adobe Audition, and you've set up all the tracks in Adobe Audition to have on them the individual tracks that are coming out of the Rodecaster so that you can edit your microphone volume, your microphone sound, your gain, your noise gate, and also edit that of any other microphones, anything on the USB channel, the sound pads, the Bluetooth, the TRRS. Any of those channels can be edited separately. You can go in and take out coughs and clicks and things that would otherwise be behind your voice and difficult to edit if you're in the stereo mix mode. In order to be in the multi-channel mode, you need to go into your settings, you need to go to audio, you need to go to multi-track, and then you can switch on whether or not you want to send multi-track to your micro SD or through the USB to your computer. That's important because if you're sending multi-channel outputs to your computer, you might notice that in a multi-track setting in Adobe Audition, your mic channel volume seems to be very low, but your stereo mix seems to be at the perfect level. Why would this be? The answer won't be found by editing your individual channel. Sure, you could go into your compressor and add gain. You could go into your levels and pump those up. You could try to raise the volume of channel number 1, your microphone channel. But what you really should do first is take a look at how your Rodecaster is outputting the stereo mix. So go into your settings and then go to channels. In the channels panel, you will see all of your channels listed independently. Clicking on any one of those buttons above the microphones will do the same thing as hitting one of these buttons on the channels screen. But if you look in the lower right of that screen, you will see a master compressor. My master compressor is adding 7 dB of gain to the stereo output. So when I listen to the stereo output in the Adobe Audition multi-track setting, it is one of the tracks. The volume is much higher. I went back and looked at track number 1, my microphone track, and I hadn't added any gain. So when I separated that channel out in the multi-track setting, it was so low, I couldn't add enough gain to it in post-production to bring it to where it needed to be. What's my solution for that? If you're going to output and you do not have multiple channels with individual inputs that you need to edit separately, you may be better off doing the stereo mix. So if you're doing a podcast or you're doing video work, the stereo mix may very well be a simpler control for all of the audio that comes out of your Rodecaster Pro. Hope you enjoyed the content today. These are little lessons I'm learning along the way. I assume that if I don't know something, other people might stumble or have difficulty with the same issues, and so I'm trying to answer them here for you. And I also ask that you put comments below. If anything we're doing helps, let us know. We'd appreciate it. If you've got a better workaround, a better solution to any of the problems that you're facing, share it with everybody and we'll try to address it in another video or perhaps get you on as a guest on one of our programs. In the meantime, be sure to hit that thumbs up and like button. If you'd like to be notified when new content posts, you know how to do it with the little bell. And please, we'd ask you to subscribe. Thank you so much for listening and watching today. God bless.